All right. We are live and you should have it.
All right, cool. Do you have any preference on the music? I've been using the same song every time, so I don't know if we're just sticking with that or not. Or do you have a request?
Oh, something's giving us some reverb. I don't know.
Are you on Discord?
Hmm. I just quit that.
That was probably it
Huh. Could be.
because you were in a call, right? So like if my audio was popping out
Oh,
somehow.
I'm, no, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. I'm an idiot. I had the YouTube live audio piping through, so I was just hearing us like 3 seconds later. But we're live, so let's get that space rolling, and then we'll do it to it.
All right. I don't have my other phone, so I'm gonna have to just do the stupid computer thing.
Okay.
I might have to go pick up my phone tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll have to talk about that later.
Sounds like a plan, Snake.
All right. Let's go live.
So I'll mute you on here, and then we'll just talk in spaces. All right.
Yeah, and then can you just send it in all the group chats because I'm gonna just be trapped on this phone.
I can do that.
All right, thanks. Oh, and can you mute yourself for the music too? Because it sounds.
Oh yeah. No problem. I'll just go ahead and do that right now.
I am doing fantastic. I'm feeling alive.
We are feeling alive. Yeah, no, super, super excited, man. Big week, big week. Yeah, just feeling good.
Absolutely. Well, GM everybody, Chef Tony and Dude Lifts here. It's Ink Tank number 3. You know the vibes. We are also live streaming on YouTube Live. I have the tweet pinned to the top of the spaces. So if you'd like to see our faces, you can head over to there. If you just want to hear our voices, stay on spaces and don't trip. Shouts out to Santiago in the crowd. I just got to say, been unrelentless support. Appreciate you, homie. So yeah, welcome everybody. Let's see what we have got going on for this week.
Yeah, if you put a comment on YouTube, maybe it'll end up on stream. I'm just saying, like it could. No promises, of
We,
course.
but you should try it. I mean, we're just trying to see what's going on.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, I mean,
You know
dude.
what? Let's take advantage of the moment. I see Micah down there. I had to pin up the tweet. For those of you guys that didn't know, this past week, Doodles popped up at 2G in Tokyo, Japan. And Micah was there. Micah, Chief, OG Doodle, OG homie. Just, I mean, he is the epitome of, doing a good turn daily, of just, man,
He just called
just
you a Boy
legend.
Scout, but it's all
Yeah,
good.
I just gave you the Boy Scout sign up. But yeah, so basically Micah was out there. He just happened to be on a very extended trip to Japan. I think it was like his birthday trip, and he was out there with family and whatnot. While there, found out that Doodles was going to do the pop up in Tokyo right before he left. Like, I mean, I think he left like a day after the final day. So, Lifts, I think you were one of the people that ended up scoring some of the 2G merch. Could you explain like how you did that and why I didn't see the sign up sheet?
I mean, cannot confirm nor deny. If you know, but no, I mean, so funny. Like, yeah, Chief is the community member we should all strive to be. Like, I mean, seriously, dude put the whole crew on his back. But yeah, I mean, Chief, I think was just sending a message. Well, and we follow. I was following the Chief anthology because I believe he got stranded in Japan from a typhoon. Was like gonna leave, and then a typhoon rolled in. Got like
Mother Nature.
3 days in a row of like delayed flights. I mean, just absolute like worst case scenario, right? And then sure enough, I don't know the exact details, but I think ended up extending his vacation because of that. And I mean, dude, I mean, it was awesome just to watch in the group chat. Like he sent this photo of him like with a duffel bag, like getting ready to head to 2G. Like he's like, all ready to go, boys. Like, and I mean,
Yeah,
absolutely robbed the place too. So
the funniest part was like I didn't know that. I just, like everyone was like, "Oh, I'm pulling up to camp in a U-Haul," just because like, "Oh, I'm buy so much merch."
yeah.
So I saw like him post a picture with the duffel bag. I was like, "Yeah, Micah's not playing. Here, let's get him up here."
Well, and the other cool part too, yeah. Oh, is he requesting? Incredible.
Yo, I think he's probably like 25 hours, ahead of us. So how's the future doing,
No,
Micah?
no, he's stateside, baby.
I know. I'm just meaning his,
He's right.
jet lag.
He's 3 years ahead of us in his incredible spirit.
Okay, buddy. First of all, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
How's it going?
Good, good. It has a feel to be back stateside.
Dude, definitely feels weird. After being in Japan for like around a month, like the jet lag definitely gets you, and like you get accustomed to like that certain culture, and you come back and you're like, holy crap, I'm actually back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, it was really really weird and like such a odd coincidence that 2G and Doodles decided to do like a collaboration and just do a quick pop up. And honestly, I think the timing was cool because it celebrates and it promotes the Eastern Asian like community of Doodles, right? We have like Doodles Korea, we have Doodles Japan, and these communities, we've recently been a lot more in touch with them. Obviously, we saw Austin go to Korea and do a little bit more of like a seminar with Young Sun, and right, obviously now they did the pop up shop, and I think it's cool that they did something exclusive for those communities that weren't able to really make it to Doodle Chicago. So yeah, I just happened to be there, and I was stranded in Okinawa due to a typhoon. And once I got back, they made an announcement, and they're like, "What the hell?" So I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go in hard." And I talked to my team at Americana, and obviously they wanted in. And then I was like, "Oh wait, they have merch too, so I can also probably get some other people merch as well." And I just happened to have like this big Adidas duffel bag, which is kind of ironic because Doodles did a collaboration with Pharrell and Adidas and stuff. So kind of come back full
So
circle,
on
right?
brand. So on brand. It's incredible.
Wow.
And so yeah, I just went full on, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy everything in the store. So for Americana, I bought one of every single thing, and on top of that, there was 4 one-of-ones. When I got there, 2 of them were sold out, and I was planning on actually buying all 4 of them, but
Monopoly.
yeah. And yeah, so they were sold out, and then I quickly went to the head of 2G, and I was like, yeah, let me reserve the other 2. And he's like, can you come back and pick it up tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I went ahead, I cashed out. I think I have the receipt. Let me see. I think I spent
It's gonna sound so much worse in yen. I can guarantee you that. Like,
yeah, I spent 555,000 yen on on the first transaction, and then my second one was 213, which was for people who wanted merch, and then the third one was like 70,000. So I spent like
it's like
a little under
three quarters of a million yen, like, or something.
Yeah, it sounds like you just bought like a fucking beach condo. Yeah.
it feels like it. And so yeah,
awesome.
Ingy was like, dude, you robbed the place, and I was like, that was the goal.
Yeah, broad daylight.
Yeah, but I'm glad other people were obviously able to like acquire some cool stuff. And yeah, so we're here now. Actually, literally, as you guys just started the space, I was actually packaging some of the stuff. But yeah, I'm super glad that other Doodles community members are able to get some of this merch and whatnot. I'm glad I'm able to contribute. Like that's the bottom line. So
yeah. Did people send you like ETH, or was it like cash?
No one sent me anything yet. Like,
oh my gosh, you fronted it? Wow.
Yeah, I fronted. Yeah, I want to.
And that was a good look.
Yeah, I want to make sure everyone gets their merch. I want to make sure nothing goes wrong with like the shipping, etc. I'll do the calculations later, and obviously, I don't want anyone to like overpay or it feels rushed. So I'm just trying to make sure everything actually gets sent out and people receive the stuff. And some is going to take longer because, for example, Young Sun, well, for international shipment, while someone in like Los Angeles is going to get it within like the next day or so. So it really depends. But yeah, I'll kind of slowly go about it. There is no rush on that end. So, yeah.
See, I've got this inkling of an idea that you're like learning the shipping logistics. So like now you could drop like a product really easily, and this will be like what you were training for, and you don't even know necessarily what that product is.
Well, yeah, actually, I did say, well, the first shipment I sent out was actually Dude Lifts. I literally called him like freaking 5 times. I bothered the hell out of him because I was trying to figure out
the test dummy.
Oh, I didn't mind. Well,
it was like,
no, he helped me. He honestly did. He was like, because I was like, I mean, if I could get this before camp, you know, and he's like, it'll be $150. I don't recommend that. I was like, you're right. You're definitely right. I mean, you're mostly right. So he helped keep me sane. But very much appreciate it. Okay. Interesting question, Chief. So you are probably one of the like few people here stateside who've been to the 2G pop-up. What was your like impression? What were the vibes? You know, what did it feel like?
It was very, very. So I've gone to NFT NYC and I've gone to Art Basel for Doodle Spot. I can say with 100% of like a doubt, there is such a different vibe in comparison to like the crowded New York or like Miami style. It was very, very chill, very relaxed and laid back. Obviously, for someone who's not Japanese native, there was a massive like language barrier, and only like a couple of people were able to speak English. And the majority of people that actually walked into that store had no idea what the hell Doodles was, right? Because there was Bear Bricks and other type of vinyls like on the other side, so people were looking at everything, not just Doodles. But Doodles was at the front of the store, right? But you know, there was even people that were in the crypto space and knew a little bit about Doodles, but had no Doodles assets or anything like that. And I was able to talk to this one guy who was a Solana maxi, and he was hella chill. He's like, dude, yeah, I like Doodles and stuff. And I was able to talk to him a little more, and he got hella excited. Was like, all right, I want to buy the merch because obviously it's like exclusive, it's limited to.
It starts with the merch. It just starts with the shirt.
Exactly. But other than that, yeah, the Doodles vibes was still there. Obviously, got had the absolute honor to talk to Brandon and just hang out with him a little bit and kind of get a glimpse of his role at Doodles, being like the head of brand partnerships. But yeah, all in all, it was a very different type of feeling in comparison to, like, because it's not crowded. It was a lot more of like introverted in comparison to like extroverted. But it was, the Doodles vibes were still there, right? It was still super cool to enjoy and experience it.
Dude, I saw that
Yeah.
guy. I saw that guy who you're mentioning, the Claynosaurs guy. He tweeted like the day after wearing the Doodles merch, and he was like, "Oh, rocking the merch," and I was like, "Yes, like this is awesome." Super
Yeah, exactly. So I was shocked that he posted and stuff. It was cool that some Doodles were following him as well. But yeah, it's very, very cool to see new people like come into the community, whether they're holding a Doodle asset or not. And it's kind of the direction that Doodles was going for from the start, right? Kind of trying to go for like more of a mass adoptive style and disrupt the entertainment industry.
Or I mean, even just like what you're saying, I mean, I think it shows like there's like a pretty big breadth of like the spectrum of how they can work the brand into different things.
Yeah, like the brand,
right?
the
Like,
brand's malleable.
right, like we're gonna do camp on Thursday, which is mainly targeted at kids and families. But like you're saying, this felt almost kind of like a little like Dover Street Market, kind of like a Supreme little, like here's some scarce, high, top dollar, high quality, streetwear type clothing or collectibles.
Well, and
Which is cool.
Here's like a kind of I don't know, that it's something you almost can't quantify. But Chief, I'll just kind of ask you this because I think the idea is right. Like it's in Shibuya. It's they were attempting to, and the store was chosen for a reason because this is where like tastemakers go. Like, so this is a weird metric, but Chief, do you see any cool people there?
Oh, dude! I mean, off the bat, right? Like Sean Witherspoon was there. Like he's been a long time friend of one of the heads at 2G, who was also a good friend of Brandon, and the three of them connected, and they definitely, that circle is very, very well connected in the higher end, like luxury collectible industry for sure. So definitely cool people were there. And 2G as itself, like if you talk about like product placement, just like the strategic aspect, 2G is very exclusive. Like you'll see it across alongside, Gucci and Louis Vuitton, etc. People walking out with a 2G bag means that like they're rolling more or less in cash in comparison to like something a little bit more of like a lower tier store, etc. So, and Doodles did it well because they were going for more of a collectible aspect. Like the merch is like limited edition, specific only for Tokyo. They'll never drop it again style. So, yeah, definitely cool people and definitely a great way to loop in collectors from the Japanese demographic. I also went to a place called the Black Pearl, and I was able to learn a little bit more about the underground aspect of collecting and sofubi, which is like the certain Japanese style of toy collectibles. It's like created by hand and with clay and whatnot. So it's a little bit different type of vibe for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Doodles kind of showing light to sofubi collectibles. It was really cool because essentially it's a dying subcategory in the collectibles industry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I think it was a really, really strong, strategic product placement for sure.
No, that's really cool. No, and yeah, that's cool to hear that you learned more about that kind of subculture as well. And that's what I, from afar, basically was like looking at Instagram, seeing who who was visiting the pop-up, seeing who they tagged, because it was like I saw Brandon tagged Sean Witherspoon, he brought somebody else, they tagged them. So I was kind of seeing, I was kind of just doing my best to suss out, are they like having that market penetration that they're going for, right? Are they getting these tastemakers to organically tag, to post, to do things like that? And it seemed, more or less that they were having that effect. So I thought that was a win for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious who the other 2 1-of-1s was picked up by. Like, I obviously the first 2 1-of-1s was picked up by an anonymous, or it could have been 2 different people, and then the other 2 was picked up by my company. But like, I'm really really curious if they're like, are they collectors? Like, are they like high end? Why did they buy it?
Because you were one of the first people to be there, to be fair.
I was there like an hour after they came out. So within that first hour, it was already sold out, which means that like, yeah. So very, very curious. But, and then also for like the prints and stuff, the next day that I came back, it was a lot more of a slower vibe. If it was in the US, all this stuff would have been instantly sold out. But the next day, half of the burnt toast prints were still available, which is nuts. So that means that a lot of people still don't have exposure to doodles, like, because if they had the America audience demographic or the UK demographic, it would have been sold out so fast, you wouldn't have been able to catch it. So they're starting to learn a little bit more and being a little bit more exposed to it for sure. I think as a first drop, or like a first time being in Japan, I think they did a successful job in my opinion. Because by the third day, everything was basically sold out. I think Harmony Keeper was talking about his friend who went to the Doodle pop-up shop as well, who lives in Japan, and he said a lot of the stuff was already sold out. So it just took a little bit longer than usual, but eventually.
Yeah, and to your point, I could even just think about, like, think of NFT NYC, right? Like, we went to NFT NYC, and then at some point they like come out with like a trailer like of the event after the fact. I did like see when you were pulling up in there, like I remember like your videos, there was like, people with cameras and stuff. So I'm sure that they'll get to do like a pretty dope highlight reel and stuff. Because that's what a lot of people, I don't know how you pick up a vibe of a brand. You like pick it up on TikTok or on Instagram. It's like a video, a cinematic, like really well put together thing that might, I mean, if they did a Japanese copy, that could, get into the right hands. I mean, I think they had a feature in Hype Beast as well. And was it Rolling Stone or something too? Like, I thought Poopy had quoted another one. I don't know if it was just Hype Beast.
Poopy tweeted something about it, but I think it was actually like an older edition, but it was Japanese, but I don't think it was related necessarily.
I got you. It was just timed similarly.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like you said, those kind of ripple effects, like people posting magazine articles, things like that, see what those kind of things kind of longer term or midterm. It was interesting too. I don't know if this was premeditated or not, but as I was kind of tracking Sean Witherspoon visited, I guess, the Pokemon, like the International Pokemon Trainers, like battle, whatever convention was happening in Tokyo at the same time. So it's interesting kind of timeliness. I don't know if that was intentional, but I assume there was probably some extra foot traffic, people who are, into kind of collectibles, this kind of same market. So I'm like, if it's intentional, it's pretty gigabrain play. If not, good, just good luck. But either way, really cool.
There was a ton of foreigners, like a ton of foreigners. There was literally my cousin walked out with another guy from the elevator, and he had a full-on camera on backpack and like one of the camera sticks for like streaming and stuff. And he asked him, "Are you a streamer?" He's like, "No, I'm a YouTuber." Guy had like 70,000 subscribers, and he was like a Pokemon like YouTuber, and he was talking to me about just the fact that there is like a full-on tournament going on, and a lot of people were there for the Pokemon tournament. Like,
dude, Pokemon in Japan is no joke. They take that thing serious.
What would you put it akin to? Lifts?
Nothing. It's almost incomparable. Like, just character culture in Japan, just in general, obviously like Sanrio, other things like that. But so there's like Pokemon centers in like most major cities, which are just stores for the most part, but they're like the place to be. And in Tokyo itself, I think there's a Pokemon center. And I was like, oh, it's going to be like a store. and it's like 3 floors of a mall, and there's like a restaurant, and like there's a trading of like battle arena, and then there's like 3 different stores with all different kinds of stuff. I mean, it's wild. Like it's like a cultural phenomenon. It's not really just a.
So are you just saying when Doodle's trading card game DCG?
I mean, who knows? I just think that I just think that that culture really just has that kind of like character culture built in, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens long term.
Big facts,
Yeah.
big facts.
They're like the biggest. I think what they literally carry Japan on their back. They're like the biggest like franchise in the world, right?
I'm not sure, but what I will say too is that like that is coming stateside. You know, that this kind of like Japanese culture, character culture stuff. Like, you know, recently I was at the mall and there was a store that was opened up that's basically kind of a Sanrio store. And I mean, that was the hottest store in the mall. Like they had to have a line, had like maxed out capacity. Like, and I'm just seeing more and more stuff like that in places that I go. So I think there's something to that. There's a timeliness piece. And maybe that's why, you know, maybe that's part of the secret sauce of why Doodles might hit. You know, we're looking to be in a hits business, so we'll see.
Well, before he drowns, Steezy, what's good? I see you've fallen off the stage a couple of times. GM.
Yo, GM. Love the conversation. Didn't want to interrupt, but have been shamelessly grinding in the Discord. And I know you guys were talking about the Chicago event. So I just want.
Yep.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Just real quick, as a Chicagoan, I wanted to shamelessly put it out there that if anybody here potentially has registered with a +1 and then their +1 wasn't able to attend, I would love to be your hot date.
Our man is looking for his +1. Hey, that's not shameless. That's not shameless. Maybe Tony, maybe we can get Steezy added to the chat or something like that. See if we can hook him up.
Yeah, for sure. I could drop you in the group chat that we have. And I think that's probably your best place to start. 1 second.
I will say I posted a tweet earlier and my boy Finn tagged Poopy asking for a favor. And Poopy did just reply saying anything for you. I don't know if he's,
Incredible.
just pulling my leg here, but
that's a 50-50 shot on that one. Yeah.
But we'll do what we can either way to try to get you in.
I appreciate it. Love the conversation. The pop-up in Japan looked dope. Super excited to see what they have put together in Chicago. Definitely going to go check it out if I'm not able to attend on Thursday, but would love to kick it with all the doodles if possible.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, Steezy, I was going to say, Poopy is honestly the biggest hookup ever. Like, when I was in Doodle's Putt, I actually like something went wrong with my token proof, and like I actually didn't get my tag for VIP and like the OG holder stuff. And I talked to Poopy, and he hooked me up for like the after parties and all that stuff. So chances are, if he like reached out to you, then you're 100% in the bag. Like, you're good to go.
Poopy has entered the DMs. We are live.
You love to see it.
Event on Thursday.
Hell yeah, you're big killing, bro.
Wow,
yeah.
Incredible.
Steezy, you're gonna make it. And we added you to the group chat so you can fraternize with our fellow doodlers.
Amazing.
But in exchange, do you have any food alpha?
Oh,
yes. Oh,
right.
wow.
What's going on?
Do I have? Well, all right. I have to preface the question. Have you been to Chicago before?
Never.
No.
Okay. You have to go to Portillo's. Like, that is
heard that one.
Thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
what's the order of Portillo's? The big beef? Right. Like, what are we talking here?
You're gonna want to go for dinner on a night that you have like an hour or two post dinner free, because this is gonna put you on. It's gonna put you on your butt for a bit, but it'll be worth it.
Fair.
You're gonna go with an Italian beef with hot peppers.
Gotta have the peppers.
And then a Chicago hot dog. And then a chocolate cake shake to wash it all down.
Yo.
Chocolate cake shake. That definitely has gluten in it for sure. It sounds pretty good.
Oh, I don't even, the real alpha with the cake shakes. I will say this. I don't want this to scare you off. You just got to trust me on this one. But
Okay.
the secret ingredient of the chocolate shakes at Portillo's allegedly is a little bit of mayonnaise.
Oh.
Huh.
I was thinking like you were
Interesting.
going to say like lard or something. Like, and I was like,
No, I thought you were gonna say something like really like out of pocket, like relish or something.
it's the hot dog
But
water.
no, I could see. I could see
mean,
mayonnaise. Yeah, sour
yeah,
cream or something like that.
I felt like mayonnaise was a little out of pocket, but like it kind of makes sense.
Ketchup would have been weirder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we
funny.
don't rock with ketchup in Chicago.
Oh,
that's another
Are
thing.
you all anti-ketchup?
So personally, if I'm like at a ball game, I'm going ketchup mustard. But if you're getting a Chicago dog, no shot you're putting ketchup on that. Like that is sacrilegious. You'll get thrown out of the city.
Okay, so we're going to be at Wrigley Field on Friday. So what is like, I'm talking, I want the full experience. I'm at Wrigley Field. I need to get a Chicago dog. What is on the Chicago dog?
Oh, you're not familiar with Chicago dogs?
Just the fact that it's
I
a
feel like I'm
glizzy,
embarrassed to
that's about
say.
it.
You made me feel bad. I'm like, no, I don't know what's on it.
All right, you have to bear with me. It's quite a lot going on.
Amazing.
So started off with a dill pickle spear.
Whoa. Hefty.
2 tomatoes, onions, sport peppers, like little spicy johns. Then onions. I think I might have already said onions. And then the neon green relish has to be the neon green stuff. And then celery salt.
Okay, the celery salt though. I like that. All right.
That's pretty nice.
It sounds hefty. It's starting off with the pickle sphere.
So there's no condiments on it?
Just and mustard. Just
okay,
mustard.
okay.
All right.
But it is like it's filling, but like it looks crazy. It's like the craziest glizzy you'll ever see, but just everything together works.
Okay. I'm all about the symbiosis. And the other one that I heard about pizza was called, I might butcher the name, Pequods or Pequods.
Yeah, Pequod's Pizza, very good. Lou Malnati's is like the most famous. Same with Giordano's, but Pequods would be good. Definitely, if it's your first time, get deep dish. But the true alpha is the tavern style pizza. Deep dish, amazing, very good. But true Chicagoans are like rarely get deep dish. It's more of like a special. It's really just when we have like tourists in town because it's so heavy. But it is very good. So like if it's your first time here, I would recommend that. If you're going crazy and double down on pizza while you're here, try the tavern style as well. It's like the square cut pizza.
This is the alpha. We can maybe pass for locals, like I'll take it tavern style. I've got all
the alpha. Yeah. If you're looking for like areas to go out, anything like that, restaurants, fun activities, I got you.
Yes, this is why we need you. This is why we need you in the chat. We need this kind of local guide Google status.
Now we do have Burry on here who can cross-reference this. Burry, what's your native opinion?
Dude, my native opinion is you gotta go to the Wiener Circle and get that freaking milkshake, dude.
All right,
we need to change the name. We needed to get some IP on there.
Dude, it's just
change the name.
That's Americana at its finest.
I second Wiener Circle. You might have to be careful in there, but that's all I'm gonna say. Not in like a bad way. Like spooky it's Chicago. Chicago is amazing.
Wait, so like be careful, like food poisoning? Like what are we talking about here?
It's just an experience.
All right.
Let's say it. Let's put it like that.
All right. I'm in. I'm intrigued. I'm game. Take me to Wiener Circle.
It's a great joint.
That's awesome. Burry, how are you doing? Are you safe? Can you report in safe?
I almost died today. It was fucking crazy. But
dude, goodness gracious.
I was doing like 80 miles an hour and I like pumped him a couple times, and I was like, well, there's nothing there, and I fucking hit the e-brake and like, you know, you like see people slide over into the side lanes or whatever. So I did that, and then I was like, ah, shit, my adrenaline's going. I gotta get out of here. And I just limped home, and I made it. And then I was like, you know what? I gotta call and get these Cubs tickets. So I did that too. So we're
Wow.
locked in.
Burry
for
almost
the Cubs.
died and then gets the Cubs tickets for his doodles. I mean,
Yeah.
And then
You're
he's probably
welcome.
like getting like some Discord pings like, hey, I didn't get the sign up sheet. And he's like, we got the box.
Yeah. I wish we would have got the box. No, sadly, because we didn't get the
I
approval
cry.
later. We didn't get the lower bowl tickets I wanted to. Everything was sold out and prices were going up. But we
Gotcha.
got in a group all together up in like the 300 level, I think on like the third baseline or something. So I'll have all the details for all the events out to everybody tomorrow morning.
nice.
But
Nice. And
Just
we're
happy
good
to be here.
go.
do you have like any stuff in regards to how many people are going to get to go to the baseball game?
I think we're at if we should be at like I think 19 people, and that's doing the favor to the last person on Discord that said I forgot to sign up. So yeah, we should be like right around 20 in totality.
Dope.
The boat's looking like we'll be right. I think right now it's right around 30, 35, something like that, and then we went a little bit over on the golf, but that's okay. We've got a little room to play with, so it shouldn't be an issue. So, yeah, golf 4 to 6. At 5 iron, it's just like a short walk down North Avenue to the camp store. It starts at 6:30, right?
6 o'clock is
dope.
the ribbon cutting.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have to hustle. Yeah, so that's pre-parties just to walk down the street, and then boat the next day. And then if you're doing both, we're just gonna I'll try and call and see if I can get like a not a taxi,
Like a bus, a school bus, and then you could just drive it too.
I'm not driving that shit, dude. No, but they're not that expensive. Like my boss she just got one from like the Cubs game. Like I think it was like it's only like $100 or something like that for enough to fit everyone. So I'll get once I do the cross reference on to see who's doing both, we'll figure out what kind of transportation needs we need. Otherwise, there's a ton of taxis that are right at Navy Pier ready to take people places. So we'll figure it out, but we'll get there, and there's gonna be a busy day on Friday. So I hope you guys are ready for fun.
Did you have any kind of a grip of an idea like how much stuff you were going to have to do when everybody came into town? You're doing what? 3 events and
there was
media?
be some stuff to do, but yeah, when the events got approved, I was like, oh shit, no, I really gotta look. And then Ness was like, hey, I'm leaving on Friday. Can you do this? And I was like, bro, come on, man. How you gonna say you're leaving on Friday? You set up an event. You be like, actually, I gotta get out of here. But it's all right. We got it figured out. We're gonna go and fucking see the Cubs. I think they're playing Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice. The Royals?
Yeah, I think that's who they're playing.
Dude, the ultimate takeaway here is that, if we have a Doodles event in another city, we can only hope that there is a Burry lurking in their city.
Dude, someone got to lurk, dude. Team lurk.
Someone's got to lurk. No one lurks like Burry, but we can only hope.
No. For sure.
Let's see. Roops, you've been hanging out. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Yeah, I just wanted to come out and give Chief his flowers, repping the dudes,
As
right?
we should.
MVP in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Also, I also wanted to Wingman Steezy, but it seems as though he already got through, so that was cool. And also wanted to give Burry his flowers. I mean, he actually set the record right there. 3 events, right?
Within a 24-hour period, yeah.
Yeah, that's the bar. Burry set the bar. It's a pretty high bar. So I mean, yeah. So mad props though, mad props. And I'll just be there for more in the background, Yeah.
Nice. Just FOMO in the background. Eyes peeled to the phone. Just
I wish I got like a cardboard cutout of you, Roops, and could bring you with us.
Just so you could
That would've been
watch.
fun.
You know,
Yeah.
it's part of your title.
Yeah,
Dude,
that
we might
would've-
be able to make that happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rich,
Maybe
that's
we
freaking
could
hot,
maybe
man.
like
First day you- yeah.
Kinkos or something.
Yeah, there's a place I actually got to go. I got a couple tricks up my sleeve for stuff going on this weekend. So
Oh my god.
send me the PDF and we'll see how much a fucking Roops cutout costs to get you in the stands.
Okay.
We're gonna be the after party with the Roops.
What if we
head
put
cut out?
Roops in camp? We could put him in camp
Oh,
so that people could take pictures with
That'd
him.
be lit.
Secret
That would be
Roops?
lit.
Wouldn't that be dope? Yeah, like we'll just drop an Easter egg and we just won't tell anybody.
A community member who can make the camp but is actually at camp would be crazy. And
Wouldn't
everyone
that be nuts?
talk about
taking
utility. You know,
and talk about utility, and Roops will be the most famous
And
dude out there.
We could
Not
just
crazy.
like tell everyone at the ribbon cutting, be like, if you find Roops in there, take a picture with him, and then tag him on Twitter.
Damn, and then all the OGs will only know who Roops actually is because they'll be like, if you know, you know. And then all the math adopters will be like, damn, that's crazy. This guy looking fly.
I will say there may be an opportunity at camp or some associated thing to identify Roops for a prize. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh.
We like that.
We like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh man.
Yo,
Yeah.
so actually, I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Unfortunately, I won't be making the camp either. But what is something that you guys are looking forward to? Like, what is the thing you're most looking forward to when going to camp?
All right, I'll give you this. I would say I'll try not to be like, okay, my friends, I haven't seen them in a long time. It's been since Art Basel, so that's a really long time. And like me and Liz have been working together for quite a minute. Just about a year on TGID. So we'll finally get to link up. That's gonna be pretty dope. But from just a holder's perspective, like social connections away, Doodle's lore, right? I think we've been beating our heads and like, what's the story? What's the story? Where are the characters? And I think that's what Julian has hinted at a lot in the Doodle sessions, that we'll get to kind of peel back some of those things, like in Ingy with all these, like, we've seen just like little animations, but I think we're going to see a lot more narrative stuff, hopefully.
Give us the story, dude. We want the story.
Dude, yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing that I'm looking most forward to. And obviously, it's very clear how passionate Ingy is in all of these different spaces about content creation, and just like in the DMs of like how excited he is to like finally release, the main character. When I was in Tokyo, Brandon was actually just like hinted about the fact that he said the main character and his cat. And like I've obviously seen content creation of the cats, that Doodles has posted over the months and stuff. But damn, cat is gonna be a main character too. That's like Dora and I don't know,
Boots.
Boots. Hell yeah, it's gonna be a full on adventure. Damn, I love cats, so I'm excited for that one. So
that's good. I mean, if you're a dog person, you're probably been like, I have a cat, so
Yeah,
I feel you on that.
But
that
also,
is the alpha.
Like, cats are the only ones in the collection too, right? Dogs aren't in the OG collection, so it's cool to see like more OG characters actually coming to life, and hopefully we get to see some aliens, we get to see some skellies. Like, that is going to be fun.
Chief, I don't know if you like notice like in the Discord, there's like some stickers with some dogs in it, right? So
Is there?
you never know.
Oh,
Yeah. There's like I believe there's two. There's like one like with a female dude, and like Dellsville form, with the dog on the leash, and then it just has one with the dog like like just running. Could barely see it, like a kind of like a wiener dog kind of sort of situation. So, yeah.
I see both of them.
Oh shoot, you're right. What the hell? I have
The
not
one,
seen-
the one with the female dude looks it's not moving this much though. Its ears move. The other one has like the clouded, like cat sunglasses, the Cobains.
Dang, I did not know that. Thank you for the alpha, Roops. I also see a Dogecoin. That's hella fun.
Yeah, we see dogs and doodles too, maybe, possibly.
That would be fun. That would be awesome.
I don't
Mm.
know. I feel like everyone we that's what we were saying with the like a Tamagotchi kind of thing. Like remember those like mascot at his computers? You'd have
Yeah,
to like
yeah, yeah.
feed him.
I'm
And
really.
and there's hot dogs everywhere,
There's hot dogs
right? You
everywhere.
know the hot dog tea.
Can we
Thinking
talk
that
about
may
that for a second? Like
Yeah, we
hot dog
can.
is like one of the OG characters, like early days of Doodles.
The early
Like that was
sketch.
in the collection, and freaking Bird Toast did not put it in the collection. Man, I was so heated back then. I was like, bruh, this was one of the best. Oh, but it's okay. Hopefully in Doodles 2, they actually bring it back. So
That would be
maybe
awesome.
maybe they use hot dogs. Maybe like hot dogs are their equivalent of water in the Doodleverse, right? So like
I hope
because of hot dogs, everybody survives.
not. Oh
Fishes swim in hot dogs. I don't know. It could be.
Why?
That's part of the thing, right? Like this whole like their world building, and we don't really know like the values of
kind of physics, exist.
creatures. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like we all just think gravity.
I love
I
how
could
you went to
probably have
hot dogs
gravity.
equals water. Like that. That was the thing. That's awesome. That's awesome.
The essence of life.
The body types are like very slinky, so that
Mhm.
does make sense that like even though they have kind of a human front, they like going to the wormhole. If you saw like the animation of the Pharrell one, like going to the wormhole originally is just like very slinky and just like popping out and just kind of doing the wave and yeah. So I'm interested.
Very
to see,
hot
like, how-
doggy,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Dude, I'm actually I'm interested too to see, talking about like we've seen in a lot of previous activations, like holders, doodles be incorporated, whether it's like you scan a card or tap your thing that like shows your doodle. I'm really interested to see what that kind of like tech integration is going to be.
Mm.
Oh, with like NFC tech.
Yeah, like what's it going to look like? You know what I mean? Like, is it tap your card, doodle appears? Is it, who knows? Like I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be interesting.
Guys, I gotta run, but keep your eye out for emails tomorrow for event updates, and look forward to catching you guys out here in Chicago.
All right, Burry.
Thanks, Burry.
See you soon.
And if we can get in touch if there's like any things that you need from us to send from TGID, if you want to like provide any other event updates or whatever, we could retweet them or whatever to help.
Word, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll get on in the morning. Everyone should have details, and then I'll push out a tweet just confirming everything. If you guys want to retweet it, that'd be dope.
Sure thing.
Gotcha.
Peace.
Appreciate it. All right, later, guys. Have a good night.
Later. Take
See you,
care.
Burry.
I guess let's just reset the room really quick. Everybody, welcome to Ink Tank number 3. This is community space, so feel free to request up if you'd like to join in the conversation. We're just chopping it up about camp and all that stuff. So yeah, you got me. I mean, those other events, what, South by Southwest,
Doodle putt.
Doodle Putt had a way that you could tap. What are those things called? A card.
Use like
I guess?
NFC,
like
NFC.
yeah,
marker
with an
chip.
RFID chip. To see your doodle. They didn't have it in New York, though.
No, but there wasn't really like an activation. Well, they did. So they had the Carl thing at the Holders Lounge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's that. So you could kind of see your doodle on a screen kind of thing. But it was a different kind of event, I feel like. It wouldn't really fit necessarily.
Okay, so more so like you're thinking like Doodle Putt. There's going to be a different experience if you have an OG doodle to just like a person.
I don't know necessarily if it's like power ups, or something like that. But I think that, if not at this activation, which I think it would be, but I think we're just going to see a deeper integration of the just technical side of doodles and the event side of doodles in marrying those two. We saw it, something in the water. They had the cargo container with the studio beta and everyone was creating doodles and they had that was a whole part of the experience, arguably almost half of the experience. And so I could easily see them leveling that up for this kind of event.
Oh, I want to say something too regarding like Tokyo. One of the biggest things that was a huge differentiator in terms of like the vibe from like New York or Doodle Spot with Tokyo was that there was absolutely no music. There was absolutely no sound effects of like doodles. It was just straight like visuals of seeing the merch and like the cool posters and stuff, which I thought to be really interesting because Doodles obviously has like a auditory and a visual experience every single time you visit an activation or a pop up
Mhm.
or whatever. So I thought that to be like really interesting. And probably, I'm assuming the majority of that stuff is heavily executed by Mackenzie because he's like the goat of creating and laying out these activations and whatnot. But um, I think the Tokyo stuff really did seem a lot more of like a spontaneous thing that Brandon was kind of going back and forth to Tokyo and back to the States and just having these conversations with 2G and whatnot and just deciding to like go full on for that. But they didn't do like a activation style by any means. So I thought that to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think it speaks to what Tony was talking about earlier about um, the brand being really malleable, you know, and that's like 2G is almost like an art gallery. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like you're displaying your art. It's less of a store. At least that's my kind of impression
Or
of it.
and just in a simple sense, when you look at the other Doodles events, right? Like, what were the audiences? I think like something in the water was definitely one of their ones that was just like, hey, let's put ourselves where there's a bunch of other people, right? And I guess this 2G thing was just straight up a retail store. And the whole concept behind camp, right, is an immersive experience plus retail. And I think that's like what you're saying. Yeah, like it will kind of bring those two things together. But I think it's going to be just according to, you know, like all the like the production quality we've seen of like feeling doodly, like you're saying. I mean, Nico used to even say like South by Southwest had like a smell to it. I was like, oh, and I forget who was talking about it, but like smell is one of like the most powerful memories senses that we have. So like people can like really remember things and like trigger nostalgia or, you know, memories through smell. So that's kind of crazy.
It's true.
I wish that we got to see that Mackenzie immersive marketing chat that he did in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
I think
to be a fly on the wall.
I think camp will be somewhere closer to something like Meow Wolf, as opposed to 2G would be more of like posh kind of studio vibes. So, but we'll see. Neanderthal, welcome to stage. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
Dude, what's up, man? Uh, I was just gonna say, 2G seems like it's a very impactful event, so I can't imagine it being just like run of the mill. And I remember early on, uh, during Spaces, they talked about having Japan, so I can only imagine that there was actually like quite a bit of forethought, and it's quite
Sure.
difficult to get into this event. It's not like they're gonna invite anyone, and then that particular gallery. Um, It's not like an easy gallery to get into to begin with. I think it's Nakazuma. That's a really hard gallery to get into. I think the last person they got in was Causes. I don't know, someone with something to do with Cause, and that one had Pharrell on it as well. So I mean, it's just, and I've mentioned it before. I think sometimes what's difficult is ignorance runs rampant for a lot of us, including myself, right? So sometimes what seems like it would be something fairly easy can be quite difficult, but unless you have perspective on it, it just seems like another run of the mill thing. And ultimately, I do think that was probably much more impactful than when you've been recognized. But that gallery, I know, anytime any artist gets put on there, it's like, I mean, it's worldwide recognition. Pharrell was at that event, at the actual gallery, not necessarily the Art Doodles event in 2G, but the actual gallery. He was there maybe a week before they announced 2G. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah. What I said in the beginning of the space, obviously, like I 100% agree with you. Like going to 2G, it's as I said, it's very near like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, like these high end tier stores. It's a lot more like quiet. It's a very gallery. Like you go there, there is not a single price listed on anything. It's either sold out, which they put on the right by the toy or the clothing or whatnot, or it's not. Right? They have a book, like they'll open a book and they'll scan a barcode. That's how they do their like you when you want to cash out. And other than that, like that's why I had such difficulty trying to like
Wait, did
figure
I
out
wreck?
okay,
What
this
the
price,
fuck?
what is that?
No, we can hear
What's
you.
up?
We can hear you, but if you cannot hear Micah, you might need to go down and then come back up.
Yeah, I can't hear anything. Okay, I'll go back.
But
But
Chief,
yeah,
yeah,
so
go ahead.
yeah, it was 100%. I agree with Nee. It's really about I was just observing and just like pointing out that like there was no music and there was like nothing of that sense. So definitely a different vibe, but like still obviously the Doodles visuals were still there, and it was still a very enjoyable experience. So, but
Yeah, I like I can speak from the point of like I'm not super familiar with like the high collectible market in Japan and all those kind of things, but I did hear from a number of people like, oh, whoa, this is a really big deal. You know, and just to speak to, you know, like who Brandon Rosenblatt is in that space is like creme de la creme. Like he's plugged the F in, dude.
yeah, it was actually kind of cool hearing a little bit more about his story. Like I didn't know like how the heck he even learned about Doodles and stuff. It was through Julian. Like out of all people, I didn't expect it to be through Julian. I thought it was, from somebody else, but not from the freaking CEO of Doodles, right? And obviously, Julian is tapped into hard in the music industry and could be in other industries as well, but specifically because he was, he's ex Billboard CEO and whatnot. But yeah, that was pretty nuts to find out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think all what you're kind of pointing to is just like, what are you trying to like when you're building a brand? What are you trying to do, right? You're trying to become part of the culture, so you got to go where culture happens, right? So they were in a music festival. They're in a, they're in Tokyo at a, another big area. It's pretty crazy, It's definitely a complicated road to get there, but I'd say they're starting to check off things on a list.
Yeah, I was talking to the head of 2G, and he said that he actually met Brandon through Sean Witherspoon. That's the reason why Sean actually was there. And he's known Sean for like years on end. And so Sean, because obviously is very tapped into the Web3 space, introduced Brandon with the head of 2G. And so that's kind of how that collaboration started. And Brandon has been going back and forth from Tokyo to the States, getting all this stuff sorted out and whatnot. And boom, like all of a sudden, we have this really cool pop up at Tokyo.
No, that's really cool to hear more of that backstory. It just goes to show you that like, not like I feel like I don't want to oversimplify it. Like it's who you know, but it is like that's really cool that like that Julian knew Brandon and Brandon knew Sean and that kind of all comes together to have this kind of really preeminent moment, which I think is super cool. Neanderthal, what's up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think Sean Witherspoon also has an NFT collection, not to show, but it's been quite interesting to see people that are in the space that have done it successfully with not necessarily just their brands, but have done it with in collaboration with brands. I think Sean Witherspoon's done a couple of things with Nike, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have people like Adam Baum, who of course has done his own collection as well. Like seeing how they successfully pushed their IP and their brand through their own medium, and then now they're moving into Web3, and uh, we're looking at Doodles, who's completely starting from scratch, right? I think it's getting quite interesting to see how things are moving forward, and I'm glad to hear that these Web2 folks that have done it are starting to move in, and it might be worth looking into because they they might have the sauce, and we were so caught up in the hype that we kind of forgot. But I know Sean Witherspoon absolutely has an NFT collection.
Yeah,
just like Adam Bomb has the bomb.
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. I know there's like patches and crates involved, but I've only heard good things about it. So
I
yeah,
think it's called like Mint or something.
Mintage. Vintage.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's like a play on vintage. Yeah, it's really interesting. They do like custom tees, like vintage tees that are NFTs. I don't know. It's cool. Yeah, it's like Sean Witherspoon. It's cool, right? Like, and it's interesting to talk about the Neanderthal, like all these guys, kind of OGs, in the kind of just culture and fashion space. I've just been hearing more and more recently from different sources that are kind of interpreting and looking at the things that different projects are doing. Even stuff like Doodles, Cool Cats, some of these other projects, and people are looking at it now and they go like they're starting to kind of hit their stride, right? They seem to be doing the right things, right? To even to what would an ink tank space be without mentioning our Lord and Savior David Horvath?
Shout out,
You know,
Papa,
but
Papa back.
so he he recently bought a doodle, and I thought this one was really interesting. So he saw the 2G pop up, and he said this is big, like this is the moments that you're looking for. It's the right small. And if doodles can do this, he said if doodles can do this 100 more times, they have a real shot at living forever. And I thought that quote was really impactful. And so that's why I'm like, I see people looking at us, doodles, other projects, and they're nodding their head affirmatively, like, yeah, they're doing the right stuff. So I think that's cool.
And I was on Beyond the GM on Friday,
Nice.
and I thought it was said pretty well. Just kind of in the sense, there was like this weird, awkward phase, right? Where it was like, all right, we need to figure out how communication works, and managing people's expectations, right? I mean, we've seen other projects, dealing with those sorts of things, like, and Doodles a while back kind of went and said, screw it, we're going to go against the hype cycle, which at first was really, really not loved by many, right? It was hated by a lot of people, or disliked, maybe to put it lightly. But now it's just like, for example, like, what hint did people have that Doodles was going to work with Crocs? What hint did people have that Doodles was going to work with 2G? Like, they've got a plan and they're executing on it when people have no expectation of it, right? Like, they're like, oh, like, I mean, maybe they're like, oh, we went to 3 events last year. We're probably going to go to an event this year. But people are pleasantly surprised, right? Because they're being surprised. And that's kind of
they're
like,
not even making announcements of announcements anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
and,
come on.
and that's the thing, right? I mean, that's kind of that change that they kind of realize, and other projects find that out at another point, or other companies find that out at another point. But that was kind of like the whole path less traveled, right? The non-dilutive space doodles thing, like that will eventually come and trigger and make sense, right? But I think it's just more so speaking to the fact of, obviously some of us in the core, we've been like, we know that they're capable, we know that their network is good, they're just getting settled. And now it's starting to come fruitful, right? And it's like, it's ramping up and they're just, and the best part is Camp's going to be there for a really long time too.
No, it's a fair point. Not to, I wouldn't say like, oh, we always knew, you know what I mean? Like, act like
Sure.
we're big shit. But
yeah,
but I think what we recently saw with Frank and DeGods, everyone's talking about it, that was kind of the crescendo of hype. You know what I mean? Like, this is the long tail of hype. Season 3.
You know what I thought? I thought that they needed a community council after that. It's like what Cool Cats did, Doodles did it. Like, I was like, we need a.
Wait, we had one.
I put something. No, well, so no, DeGods has a community council already,
wrong.
but it's a lame duck. It's a lame duck council.
Once upon a time, there used to be one. I just want to throw that out there.
But
I was part of it.
I did put something in a chat because, like, the day after, Kevin DeGods was like, let's get a bunch of content creators together in a group chat, and I was like, it's giving community council. That's what like. But regardless of all that, like you said, even Frank himself, like, the man of hype, was like, the hype thing might be over, as much as it pains me to say that.
And just to key that point in, right? Like, what got us here all, like, is art, right? I mean, that's like the simple fact, right? Like, why did people first come to Doodles before they knew much anything else except for like the 3 founders? They were like, that art makes me feel some type of way. And you got to kind of, run back to, okay, well, then where did it go to? Okay, well, like you said, in the D Labs ecosystem, it was like, all right, Frank, we like him. Pudgy Penguins are like, okay, Luca, we like him. But then Doodles is just kind of building the name brand, right? Like it was Poopy for a long time, right? And then they're like, get out of there, so that we can just make the brand the thing that people tie into. Because that was a problem that Disney had a while back. Like Walt Disney was the guy. Then he died, and then they scrambled. They're like, oh, what do we do? Because they didn't have that guy, right? You know, like similar with Apple. You know, Apple used to be Steve Jobs, and now Tim Cook. He just doesn't have the same like pizzazz as Steve Jobs to me. You know, and it's just kind of Apple. You don't really, at least I'm not super in the Apple ecosystem like I used to be. So maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean removing the cult of personality, like making it more about the brand, that's definitely a part of it. There's a concept that was kind of thrown around a while ago, and I think it was actually called a little bit early. It was called like community layoffs, essentially. And that was a lot of these projects were going through these community layoffs, whether through their own actions or through like the broader market, like was causing people to leave the ecosystem for some reason or another, or leave different projects. And so I think that has occurred in some sense. And now projects are basically in tone setting mode, right? Some have been more deliberate, like Moonbirds of like, we are the art collectors PFP. Here's what we're doing. Doodle seems to be taking a more kind of abstract tone setting approach, like you said. They're just having these events, doing these things, creating this culture, and then trying to probably attract people to the brand via that. But I have said quite a bit. I saw Ash raising their hand first. So Ash, what is going on? How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's
Yo.
going
Sorry,
on?
I didn't get up quick enough when you said manage expectation. I was gonna be like, when Lambo? And
Oh,
moment
rats.
passed.
You should have just
Bro.
unmuted. If you got something like that, ad
Yeah,
lib.
yeah. If you got a
Please
when, if you got a
interrupt.
when, dude, always drop the when.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I think like what they realized is one, the building in public wasn't working for them, and two is that when they leave that room for anticipation, excitement, speculation, then no matter what it is, you will never meet DJ's expectations because we just like I guess we overbuy the announcement of the announcement. Like it reminds me of like I don't know if you guys were following Cool Man. There was like rumors of Disney Forever.
Yes,
Which
I remember
he
that.
actually said there is nothing regarding that, but I guess people didn't listen. And then when they actually announced an animation, like full series animation coming out, but because the announcement wasn't with Disney, the project got crushed. Like I mean, the team they signed with, they're an amazing team. I can't remember their name, but I remember I knew of the
Cartoona.
animations in their portfolio. What was that?
Cartoona.
Oh yeah. So,
Yeah.
so like it wasn't a bad thing. It was like they were a great studio, but people started fighting it because it wasn't Disney, and it's just like I don't know. I feel like they're getting a hang of it, and people are getting also a little bit more mature of how they react to.
Yeah, always
given.
always hesitate to call maturity to the NFT space, but it does feel like that. And yeah, you're right. Like in the sense that every announcement that Doodles has recently come out with, there just hasn't been a lot of FUD. I won't say any, but I'm almost like any. I think because of that, like non front loaded expectation setting, right? So if like the Crocs thing, some people if they don't like Crocs, they'll be like, oh, okay, not for me. But I didn't see anybody go like, "Oh my gosh, this is the stupidest fucking collab ever, bro." Like because there was no like bag pump dependent on it. It was just like, like some people were like, "Oh, this is sick." And and it was either neutral or this is cool. That was the majority of the response that I saw. And maybe that's due to not overhyping it. I don't know, but
Dude, 100%. Like if Poopy said this is gonna break the internet, and then he released collaboration with Crux, everyone would have been fighting it. I think.
Well, and I can also just speak to another thing. I do think just generally, like our community has been in better headspace. I think people have been just nicer to people. Like the positivity is, like I don't think we're dunking on each other, which is good. And I do know there was like a whole lot of this weird like tribalism going on too for a fat minute. But then everyone was like, oh, you know what? Once every project kind of like, I don't know, quote unquote, made a mistake that like people were like, hey, we don't like that. Then we're like, oh, okay, yeah, all of our shit stinks, right? So let's just be people, which is nice. I'm liking it, at least. I think it's a lot less toxic to be around.
No, fair point. Fair point. Neanderthal, I saw you raising your hand. What's up, man?
Oh yeah, dude, give me one moment. Just walking to my place of employment.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just walking the halls. So all I was gonna say was that ultimately, like one of the biggest things that's done that's a little bit different, that was said early on, was kind of like something in the water that was like something that they suggest or they implied that would be that they could kind of move around.
Oh,
And I think,
modular. Yep.
yeah. So, and they said they'd like to do that, uh, not only for one, they like to have more. And I think what we're seeing is having these type of events. I mean, it seems like modularity is going to be the key for Doodles, in particular when it comes to being able to show up to meaningful locations. I think that's going to be the winning ticket, and it seems like they're doing that pretty frequently now. And I do think the surprises that we're getting, um, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised as a holder. I understand some people feel like they're investors, but I'm on the other side of that. I'm not. I'm not an investor in any sense of the word. That was the VC funds that were the investors. I myself am just like a collector of the collection, and I think Dude Lives was pointed out. Like we have the awesome opportunity of co-creating in a sense through incubator. That's kind of the differentiating factor between what we can do as an average collector and as a holder, right? And truth be told, I think that's kind of what sets us apart. And I think as more people come to terms with that, it becomes much more easy to see big pictures like, oh, we are part of this bigger thing, even if it may not seem like it to others. Like in the grand scope of things, we do have a lot more power than just a simple collector. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to, in DJing world, it's like, well, when are we going to get paid more? When are we going to get drops? And it's like, dude, I really don't give a fuck about any of that. I'm just interested in seeing like the growth. And I think as things continue to grow, um, it just becomes more beautiful because then you were genuinely a part of the early start. And I think that's kind of what excites me the most, at least as a holder. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to listeners.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, just to your point, right? Like, I think like you're kind of talking about like self-actualizing of like a big part of why the community council came about was to help align incentives between the community and the team.
Ooh,
right?
Self-actualizing.
And you think, what is the mode of that? Yeah, the incubator is kind of that thing. Like that's like I'm sorry I'm saying this word, bridge, right?
The gap.
That is the bridge.
It's a bridge.
There wasn't a gap necessarily. It was just very difficult to travel that way if you didn't have the address on the other side.
No, it does create like that is the like financial membrane maybe between the collectors and the company in a weird way. Which creates a much more reasonable relationship as opposed to a bunch of, a bunch of like salivating degens, like, why you not make floor go up? Oh,
this is a shareholders meeting. You're like, no, this is general chat of a Discord.
Yeah. And I don't know. You could probably write a book about like the start of like the blue chip NFT craze and, who did what right, wrong, and indifferent. But I think moving forward, yeah, it does seem, like the incubator could be a cool like financial membrane between the company and collectors. To Neanderthal's point, it's almost like maybe like we approached it the wrong way from the jump, but maybe kind of resetting now. It's almost like it's like Disney Plus, right? It's like collector plus, right? It's like Web3. Web3 is upgrading the collector experience in a variety of ways. And the cool thing about the incubator too, and the permissionless blockchain is like the company doesn't have to build all these like wild blockchain, NFT finance, DeFi products. Like other companies are doing that. So if holders want to take advantage of that or participate in the more financialized aspects, like they can, and that's available to them, but it doesn't all necessarily have to come from the company itself.
Yeah, and just I think just from the spirit of it, before I jump to Chief, is like the team in the past basically 2 years has had to grow a lot, right? They've had to learn a lot. At the same time, like we have to, as community members, as holders, need to grow too, right? And once we both, develop more, it's going to be a lot more synergy. And that's, that's when shit is fun, right? Like you want to build a connection with people, like friendships, all the sorts of things like that. So it makes
We
sense.
are in our community adolescence, if you will.
We're coming of age.
Yeah.
All right, Chief, what's up?
I'll say something quickly, and then I want to jump to Mr. Community Chair, because I guess it kind of loops into it, right?
Long chair, don't care.
I'm very thankful that we're in the stage that we are at now, right? Obviously, going through the entire FUD thing wasn't fun. And I do think that a higher floor price equals like higher expectations by all these people that actually don't care about the brand, etc., because they just care about like the money. And I guess that's what makes things so difficult about NFTs, is because you want to tie like financial incentives into like just the enjoyment and like the actual building aspect. But one thing I think is like really, really cool is that Doodles had two directions, right? Their first direction is a company direction, but then a second is the community direction of like, okay, how can we allow our community to grow and establish themselves and be more independent? And it really ties into the community council. I do think that the CC is an absolute game changer with the incubator and the Doodle Bank, and I think that 82 is, the leader of that right now, and I think it's an amazing thing that is happening. And honestly, I don't see many community councils be super active and do stuff right. And maybe I guess I'm not in the right circles, but I do think that the incubator is such an amazing aspect. But I'll leave it at that. Let's jump into Mr. 82.
82. What to do?
All right, Chief. Let me just begin with it. The council stretches far beyond me. I think like the individuals that are on the council are pretty rock solid, and I mean Tony can probably attest to it. So I don't even necessarily see myself as leading it. I'm just playing a role. So let's just we're downgrading expectations here. This is what we do.
Downgrade. Season 3.
Downgrade. That's right.
Downgrading, not upgrading.
My fault. My fault.
No, don't worry. Everyone's gonna love the downgrade. We're good. I think like part of what has been really encouraging to me. So I mean, I've gone through this journey as an NFT holder as well, probably very similar to a lot of like all of us, right? When I first bought into projects, I would kind of view myself as an investor, and like I'm buying this thing and they're gonna make floor price go up, and this is gonna be awesome. But then I feel like, and I forget who alluded to this. I think it was maybe Dude Lifts, but there's like or maybe it was Tony. There's a maturity that has happened, not only on the team side, but also on the community side. And I can speak for myself personally, where it got to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for what the Doodles are building, and the incubator lets me, hopefully now, since I'm chair, I haven't utilized it, but eventually I would love to utilize the incubator to build alongside Doodles, right? And there's these different ideas and dreams that I have that I want to present. But like, that's the exciting thing about the incubator, is it unlocks that for me. And that's what excited me about Bored Apes early on. And that's what excited me originally about the Doodle Bank, but we all know how that went. Don't want to cause PTSD for Lifts or Tony, but it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And now, like, let me put it this way. Even just, so we've only opened up the community events through the incubator. And I mean, Tony can attest to it. We're already feeling a little swamped with trying to manage all the proposals coming in. We're starting to catch up, which is nice because we have a system in place now. But it's like to the point where like, okay, are we accepting any more community events in Q2 or Q3, or like, what's this looking like? Because right now we're trying to catch up. And then when phase 2 launches, it's going to even compound that. And I think like the takeaway from it is originally, I'm long-winded, I apologize, but originally we were worried about not having enough proposals. And I think what this has shown, at least myself, is that there are plenty of ideas in the Doodles community, like plenty. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited for phase 2 whenever we get that launched, which should be, Tony, what do we say? Soon, TM? Sooner than you think?
Sooner than you think.
Yeah, sooner than you think. It'll be good. But so anyways, yeah, it's an honor. It really is. There's days where it's stressful, and then there's days where I sit at my computer doing council work, just like shocked that I have the opportunity to be a part of it. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And this
I mean,
tank, great job, TGID, by the way, and TGID team. This is awesome.
you know what? There's got to be a touch point for people to come through every week. We thought it was a good cook up, and it's easier to do nights than Friday mornings, to be fair, nowadays.
Well,
go ahead. I think just to the point, like what you're saying, 82, like I just want to shout to the high tops of, like, I do need to give a big shout out to Poopy and Evan for coming up with the Doodle Bank originally. That was huge. Like it wasn't going to be Doodle DAO, but they did, do it kind of like this multi-sig thing. And I'm also super glad that they brought on Kai Turner, the guy from Meebits DAO, because like you're saying, I mean, they kind of gave you guys, I mean, me and Roops got in there like about like a month in, but like it didn't seem like they gave you any sort of training wheels or anything. They're just like, here you go, like here's the basic formatting, right? But Kai Turner did a really good job about making giving you guys like an actual like blank canvas to work with. And like you said, I think that whole idea of inspiring people to just try and to dream again, right? That's what you said. I remember, like, that was your goal, being the chair. And that's really great. I'd like to say that the events coordinators are starting to dream. So a slice of humble pie to you.
And that's
for your, like,
no, and not that we should be taking victory laps, but the thing is like Chicago, Bury is putting on 3 events. Like, I know Tony and I are super grateful at the opportunity to get to travel and do this and more, like live in person, which we just wouldn't be able to do otherwise. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's really cool. Like, and so the Chicago, holders preview is, assuming, Tony and I do have a decent job, but, regardless, like, is made better by the incubator. You know what I mean? And the community experience is made better by the incubator. So I think that's really cool. Like, and so that's a win. That's a win for the community council.
Well, and an example of like, I feel like the incubator has become, I mean, there's still things you need to learn about and familiarize yourself with the incubator. But an example that like really impressed me was, so Bury came up with this, the virtual golf proposal. I think it was Inc. 31, if I remember correctly. And it's the one happening before the event. And the ask is for $1,700 US, and that was what the proposal is. And then it sends a bunch of doodles to be able to play virtual golf together to kind of warm up for the big event. And I was sitting there as reading through the proposal, and I thought, like, this is 1 Ethereum. To me, this is a no-brainer, especially with how much is in the incubator. But before, for Bury to get that passed for 1 Ethereum, like, you probably wouldn't even try. Like, you got to get first you write the proposal. So you do all the stuff you have to do for the incubator, but then you also have to like campaign, and there's different levels. So you have to, like, I don't know. I mean, you guys would know best, but there were so many different hurdles you had to cross. But now it's like, he submitted this proposal. It's basically 1 Ethereum, and the council read it, and we were like, yeah, this is awesome. Pass. Let's go. So I think that's the cool thing with the incubator. I feel like it has unlocked funds. And hopefully phase 2 will bring more of that for the community.
No, people, I mean, yeah, kind of the whole point, right, is like, if you got an idea, come up here and let's talk about it, right? Or like, go in the think tank or whatever. I know that some people are like trying to figure out, like how feedback mechanisms are working. And it's like just doing a lot of, like, I hate to say, like, proverbial like door knocking and stuff like that. And you just kind of got to do word of mouth because not everybody here's the spaces, or not everybody here's a space. Here's a little a stream, or here's a Discord chat, or a feature. So it's like it's piecemeal at first, but I'd say by the way that people have developed with sentiment over time, like they'll really understand the incubator. At least from a fly on the walls perspective, it makes so much more sense. Like you guys did so good, which is great. Because I think we were just kind of a little crazy to do it the other way, but nonetheless, just to speak, I'm excited for this week, right? Like this is really cool. A lot of us are gonna get to descend for like the first time in like 9 months, and there's also a lot of new holders, right? Burry's a new holder, but he's like popping 3 events and doing a media RFP. Like that guy's like Hercules, Hercules.
And yeah, he's Hercules, but also like how well he's pulling it off. Like when I saw the posters that he came up with, I messaged him. I said, "Who did the artwork? Because this is awesome." And he's putting in the work. So I think, I mean, I've been impressed with Burry a lot through these 3 proposals. He's very busy, and apparently he almost had an accident today. Is that correct?
We talked about that earlier on the space.
Yeah. Like wild, but anyways, he's putting in the work. But I mean, the incubator is only as good as the community that uses it. So I hope the community continues to take advantage of it, because the council, we're waiting to fund things. So provided we get caught up and all that, but
No, it's been awesome seeing the events at Hello NFT from Young Sun, like the Japan Doodles meetup. Like it seems to be working, like, which is great. It's awesome.
Well, and now it's fun because we the first couple months, if I'm just being completely honest, there was a lot of we're just figuring out all the logistics of it all, and some of the meetings were maybe a little heavy, or maybe the async stuff. It was just like we didn't get any of the fun stuff. But now that proposals, it was very tedious. Now that proposals are coming through, half of our meeting is just discussing proposals and what it means for the community, and that's the fun part. And it's just going to become more and more fun. As I'm excited for custom proposals when those launch. That's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah.
So I hope you guys are cooking some stuff up. That will be great. And it's been a blast. So I need to head out. I have a meeting actually with, I don't know, but Tony, we got a meeting soon. So
Yeah. We'll rug this in just a second.
Yeah. I need to drive home, but I appreciate all you guys and hosting this Ink Tank. I think is a very good thing. So appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you.
Totally. Ash, did you have any parting words, or Chief or Roops?
We closing it down?
In a minute.
Yeah, I'd like to share something, and I was gonna ask Chief actually, how much was the black figurine? I want to buy one if I get a chance online.
I mean, I don't know how much it's gonna cost online in comparison to what it was in Tokyo, but
right,
was 28,000 yen.
I'll do
no idea what that is.
I'll do a calculation. It
was between $200 to $300.
Okay.
What did you say? How much? 28,000. 192.
Okay, close enough. Yeah.
But so give me what I'm not understanding is wouldn't they just dollar yen average it? Like dollar cost average type.
You're talking about like the price when it goes live.
Yeah, like wouldn't they put it at a convertible price?
Yeah,
or is that not always?
But it hasn't been confirmed yet. Like no one's come out and said like it's going to be exactly the same as it was in 2G. Like it just might not be.
Yeah, I just wanted to get an idea. What was the size like, Chief? Like how big is it?
That's a good question.
So you have a ruler?
Yeah. I don't have.
I mean, if you got alpha, I mean, like people have been begging for this information.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm holding it right now in my hand.
So, Chief, how big is it? Let us know.
Come on.
Trying to know.
So I actually haven't taken mine out of the box yet, but the box is, I would say, like knee high, a little less than knee high for me.
What?
What does that even mean? How
mean,
tall? What's the shin diameter?
could you put it next to like some like maybe like
Put it next to a
how many
banana.
iPhones tall
All right,
is
you
it?
know what? You know what? Let me go get my damn ruler. All right.
A
Chief,
tape measure.
Chief,
I mean,
how are you more torso or are you more upper body? Like, what's...
Well, that's are you femur dominant?
This is getting out of hand.
like-
This is not the conversation I was hoping.
Is there a leg length discrepancy? Like we have to know that as well.
All right, I'm getting the damn ruler. Give me a second. Is there anything else?
As if Chief hasn't done enough. We're berating him like, measure the damn figurine.
And Chief, if we could get it in inches as well as centimeters, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, this Chief stateside, it's coming in inches.
I want to know it in pixels.
Oh,
All righty, buddy. It is
drumroll, please.
around 14 inches tall.
Okay.
With the box.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
so maybe like an inch or two shorter, or maybe few.
Then it is 5 inches wide. So
Okay.
14 by 5, basically.
You heard it
5
here
inches
first.
tall.
Damn, that's way bigger
Chief.
than I thought.
Chief,
Wow.
could you get us what the weight and the girth is?
In grams.
In
please.
grams. All right, 1 second. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, get
I'm
out the
not gonna
food
open-
scale.
I'll open up the box. You know
Oh.
how crazy it would be if X allowed us or Twitter allowed us to do like FaceTime over
On Twitter Spaces.
Dude, you act like I don't tag Elon Musk every day in a tweet that says combine live streaming and Twitter Spaces, please. Every day.
Or combine the LiRod scanning tech so you can just upload the 3D avatar for us.
Oh,
Well, technically,
Wow.
isn't TGID like linked to like YouTube?
I mean, yeah, we're live on YouTube right now. So yeah, you
Yeah,
can
we'd
see,
have to get cheap. I mean, we could get you on here somehow
can
if
see
you have
us.
StreamYard.
you can see this.
No, it's all good. I was just saying. Okay, so the actual vinyl is 11.5 inches tall, and it is, well, I mean, it varies based off of where I measure it from. I think like 4.5 inches.
That's actually surprising. I would have pegged it for like 6 or 8 inches tall. People were kind of calling it smaller than the other one. So to hear that it's 11 inches tall, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger than the other ones for sure.
That's 28
what-
centimeter for my metrics homies out there.
Oh,
Appreciate you,
appreciate you,
Mr.
asking.
Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. And Chief, could you just get us like quickly, what would the weight be if it was like a fruit? Are we talking like it's a
2 apples.
Like a
Cantaloupe.
comparable.
or like is it a
If I'm holding it right now, it's pretty damn light.
Oh,
I would say it's like
A large mango?
yeah, I would say like an apple.
apple.
Like
okay?
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, normal size apple.
All
Like
right.
a Granny Smith, something like that.
Yeah.
Honey,
All right, this
Honey
guy is like
Crisp.
color specific. Like, what difference of apple does it make, buddy?
Because I mean, that,
I heard
a gala,
Macintoshes are awfully dense.
it's true though. Has that kind of chalky texture. You know what I mean? By one of those things.
To Dude
think-
Lift's
I think
point,
wax.
Chief's probably thinking, haven't I done enough for all these doodles?
That's what I'm saying.
Another-
I'm putting him through the ringer
Yeah,
here.
I was packing the entire time for all of you bastards while we were doing the TGID. I'll actually, you know what? I'll take a picture and I'll send it off.
I think you should also submit a proposal to bring doodles for a tour guide of the vault in Americana.
Oh,
Visit in person tour, baby. School trip.
I haven't even visited the vault, but I would love to go, and I would love other people to go. That'd be sick. But yeah, that would be a cool proposal for sure.
TGID live from Americana. We'll show up.
And Burry will drive the bus.
Dude, that would be sick.
Cross
Content
country.
creation from TGID would be absolutely lit.
Wait, are we wanting Burry to drive the bus? I didn't get the full details on what
No,
that
just
was
the
not
joke
his
is
fault.
just that
It
he's
wasn't his
doing
fault.
everything. Yeah.
Oh,
no,
it
no,
wasn't
no.
his fault.
Wasn't his
Okay,
fault.
okay.
I mean, unless he didn't
He was like,
unless he didn't perform routine maintenance, and which resulted ultimately in the precarious situation. But
Oh, right. It was his brakes. That's right. That's right. Okay, yeah.
maybe it was someone from
He can-
another
he
project,
can-
out to get him. Just saying.
hey, let's not throw stones in a glass house.
What up, cool mans? Oh man.
Here,
So-
I just sent it. There you go. So that's what the boxes look like currently. Oh shoot! I just realized it has people's addresses on it.
Dude, delete that.
Oh no!
You just
Delete
doxed
it,
a lot of
Chief.
people.
Nobody saw what you just saw.
It's gone. It's gone.
Dude, this is how jet lagged I am. I literally dox people, bro. That is not good. Thank God 82 did not send me his address.
It would have been our fault. We berated you into posting this picture, essentially. So
Fair enough.
it's
Fair
our
enough.
price to pay.
Yeah, but yeah, there's quite amount of boxes for sure, and I'm gonna be trying to send them out all tomorrow. Some people actually still haven't sent their addresses, which is absolutely crazy to me. It's like, bro, how the hell am I supposed to like do anything? I'm just gonna leave it here while you wanted some close. So we'll see what happens.
Bruh.
But yeah, trying to send
You
stuff
know,
out.
if you get stuck with some
Ooh,
merch that like people aren't trying to claim, can we get I'll get on the wait list.
dude,
I
a
got
deadline.
I got bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Chief.
First
if you
come,
haven't-
first serve.
Yeah, Chief. If you got an extra black shirt, you know, I'm not saying I'm a large, but I might be a large. So
Dude, all you asked for was a cap. You had
I
your
didn't, Chief. I know. I have regret. All right, I have regret.
This guy.
That's awesome.
So, but I did want to say something, which actually I was, like thinking about recently, which was like if you had an entire pie chart of Doodle, and you took a look at the percentages, how much of Doodles do you think from literally the get go when Tulip and Poopy and BT like met each other? How much of it do you think was experimental versus executional?
Are you talking about not only artwork, but just like every decision, every fork in the road along the way?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. How much of it do you think is experimental? Because our space is known for everyone just experimenting with like whether it's DGods or Pudgies or this or that. But like, how much of it do you actually think Doodles was like, hey, we have something really, really solid and we want to stick to this as tight as possible?
It would be interesting, yeah, to see like if there was a one page from like the jump, like, hey, we're gonna do events and we're gonna do this, like, and how much that has stayed true. That'd certainly be.
You mean like the
interesting.
original like founding doctrine of
Yeah,
sorts?
yeah, the pre-white paper, like, yeah, because I often wonder about stuff like that, like with camp, and then I know Neanderthal mentioned the modular pop-up. Like, is that A/B testing? Is that kind of experimenting, seeing what hits? I'm not sure. But yeah, that would be interesting to hear just from maybe from the horse's mouth, like, from the founders, like what did you think Doodles was going to become? Has it exceeded, lived up to that expectation, less than so far? Yeah, it'd just be interesting to hear their thoughts.
Groups, do you have the combination lock of the stables where those horses are still?
No. I gave it to Ash. He has it like somewhere.
Gosh.
He's
Are you
lying. I
serious?
don't nothing of
Ash?
this.
Well, technically half. Like no, 1/3 Ash has it, and then the other 2/3 Kuya has it. Right? I mean, one for each of his twins. Right? So yeah. So it's kind of like spread across.
I see. It's like 4-factor authentication on a
Ooh.
combination lock.
Yeah, it's that whole like
Well,
split up your like seed phrase, Vitalik Buterin.
So
social recovery,
that why
that's what it's called.
The pooplicator.
All right.
All right.
I feel like we're descending into madness.
I feel like it's time to go home. Yeah.
We've devolved.
Ash, what is it? Go ahead. Last words.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's cool to share something I've been building. It's a platform to connect artists and collectors.
Oh, that's interesting. Is that like
Oh, so yeah, like
it's like a social
Sorry, go
thing,
on.
or what's the deal?
So yeah, I was at ETH Waterloo. It was my first hackathon. I didn't know you don't have to be a programmer to participate. So I volunteered, and long story short, there was this part. This Vitalik was out the door. He was like signing, giving out signatures, and then we like literally just like a minute before that gave out our only pen to someone to like put signs up for their party they were hosting. And I was like, God damn it, I like wanted his signature too. And it kind of popped into my head, like, wouldn't it be cool if you could have just signed my doodle? So then I made a demo of an app that allows you to like basically have your NFT signed, like similar to Apple Pay, but when the artist tap it, they could like leave you a voice note or
Oh.
sign your NFT or something. So since then, I've been like in conversation with an engineer from Manifold, and we've been kind of remaking that as an MVP that works on web. So it's a thing that basically allows you to have your artwork signed by the artist and get collect derivatives, but also like commission artwork. And ultimately, yeah, the mission is to like have these two group connected. So I've been like reaching out for customer development. There's like asking questions from like we have lots of cool artists like Karma, Sushi, Juice, Mickey on the top of my head. But from the collector side, I've only shared it with Roops. So yeah, like I just wanted to invite you guys if you want to join the beta. That would mean a lot. If you guys gonna like want to just try it out and then give me some feedback, let me know what you think. I just put it in the comments below, and I don't know if it's gonna disappear. Oh no, it's recorded space, so it's probably gonna stay there. If you wanna, yeah, have a look when it goes live. You just sign up with email. There's no wallet connect. We are integrating paper.xyz, so you could just sign up and make a self-custodian wallet with your email address.
Nice.
And there's no platform fees or anything. But I don't think I can sponsor gas yet, but maybe in the future we'll see. But I just pinned it on top. It'd be great if you guys try it out and let me know what you think.
Yeah, dude. Why'd you wait till the last minute? Shit. Come on. No, that sounds really cool. That's like that sounds awesome. That's exactly the stuff, or sorry, type of stuff that we want to talk about here in Ink Tank as well. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
that.
dude, it'll be pretty sick. I'm waiting myself to send Baron Toast an offer, see if he can sign my doodle. That would be pretty sick, but we'll see. We have some cool artists who are interested to try the beta. We have Joe Peace, Vinny Hager, Sabbath, Tyler Hobbs. So I'm excited to see how it goes, but I haven't really reached out to my collector friends, only to Cool Knight, because I've seen him commission a lot of artwork to like one of the cool people who recently joined the space. His name's Zebra. But yeah, I didn't know that many people who were here for NFTs to just collect art and stuff. So I just thought I'd let you guys know and see if you want to join and stuff. But yeah, it would be great if you guys try it out.
Yeah, I'm watching the video right now, so we can get in touch. I'd like to check it out, and then maybe we can talk about like getting you on an episode where you can kind of run through, because like there's obviously definitely like some questions about it that I probably will have after just a little bit of use. So I'd like to provide that too, but also maybe do it in public to get more eyes on it, because yeah, totally, we support dudes that are building. Yeah. So appreciate you sharing it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and if there's a way that the incubator can amplify that, over time, maybe we can help you figure that out as well. So that'd be awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Dude, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, we'll connect so we can maybe do like a space or something like that, or just talk about it more in Ink Tank, because it sounds really cool, and we very much appreciate you sharing that. Cool. All right, Tony.
That was dope. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to Ink Tank number 3. We'll be back here next Monday, but we will also be here on Thursday evening. We'll be TGID live from camp. We'll be on Twitter Spaces. We'll be on YouTube Live from inside the camp activation under the flower canopy. We will have tweets coming out soon with more details on the show. It's going to be not your average show. Wouldn't you say? I mean, I feel like you can give some alpha while we have people here with us.
There'll be some fun stuff. You'll have the opportunity to kind of, if you've seen our YouTube live streams that we've been doing recently, to come up on stage with us like Tony was saying, you'll get to see inside the activation. You can maybe interact with ourselves and other guests live at the event. There'll be some fun surprises that we're going to do during the show. We just really want
for people at home as well as people that are in person. So we
Yep.
we aren't going to give everyone the cold shoulder.
we know what it feels like to sit at home, as Roops would say, in FOMO from afar. And so we're going to do our best to really give people who are at home the experience of seeing what the event is like as well. So we'll try our best. We feel, super grateful the community has trusted us to be able to do that. And yeah, it's awesome. We're excited to see y'all on Thursday.
All right, Lifts, you want to sign us off?
Yes, sir. As always, and it seems to be ever more true, think not of what Doodles can do for you, but what can you do for Doodles? TJD. Sign it off.